Lena had always believed in the idea of love and loyalty. Raised in a traditional family, where marriage was revered and fidelity was non-negotiable, she thought she understood the importance of trust and commitment. But like many, she never expected the tangled emotions of infidelity to be something she would face in her own life. It was only much later, after years of grappling with guilt, confusion, and shame, that she realized she had committed a betrayal before even stepping into marriage. It all started in college. Lena had been dating Kyle for over 3 years. They had met during their freshman year, and from the moment their eyes met across a crowded lecture hall, something clicked. They were inseparable, their bond was strong and comfortable. They talked about their future together, marriage, children, the house in the suburbs. They dreamed about what their lives would look like once they graduated. But as with most college relationships, the pressure of navigating life beyond academics and into the real world began to take its toll. It was a period of change for both of them. Lena was adjusting to the demands of her internship, while Kyle was figuring out his post-graduation career. Amid the chaos, they found themselves arguing more often. Their communication, once effortless, became stilted and strained. The future they had once envisioned together suddenly seemed uncertain. One night, during a break from finals, Lena went out with some friends to a nearby bar. She had never been one to enjoy the college party scene, but she wanted to blow off some steam. While there, she met Noah. Noah was different from Kyle. He was charming, attentive, and seemed to understand her in ways she hadn't realized she needed. Lena had always been emotionally self-sufficient, but with Noah, she felt seen in a way that had been missing in her relationship with Kyle. They struck up a conversation, and before she knew it, Lena was sharing details of her life with Noah, her struggles with balancing school, her worries about the future, and her frustrations about her relationship with Kyle. Noah listened intently, offering support, something that Lena realized she had been craving. Over the course of the night, they talked about everything from their childhoods to their personal aspirations. When Noah leaned in to kiss her, Lena didn't pull away. The kiss was brief, but it was electrifying. In that moment, Lena felt a whirlwind of emotions. She felt guilty, exhilarated, and confused all at once. She immediately regretted it, but there was a part of her that couldn't shake the feeling of emotional release that came with being with Noah. It wasn't just the physical act, it was the emotional connection, the way Noah made her feel understood. She went home that night, unable to stop thinking about it. The next few weeks were a blur. Lena couldn't bring herself to tell Kyle about what had happened. She loved him, but she wasn't sure if she loved him enough to make it through the emotional dissonance she felt. Every time they spoke, there was a growing sense of distance between them. Lena began questioning everything about her relationship with Kyle, whether it had truly been built on mutual understanding, or if it was just a comfortable habit they had grown accustomed to. Her guilt was overwhelming, but she couldn't talk to Kyle about it, not yet. Instead, she continued seeing Noah in secret, letting herself believe that maybe she could have the emotional connection with Noah while still maintaining her commitment to Kyle. Months passed, and Lena's internal conflict deepened. The guilt became unbearable. She realized that she wasn't being fair to either Kyle or Noah, and the emotional toll of juggling the two relationships left her feeling isolated. Despite her love for Kyle, she found herself pulled toward Noah more and more, not because she wanted to betray Kyle, but because Noah offered something that Kyle didn't seem able to, an emotional intimacy that Lena had longed for. The tipping point came during a weekend trip to visit Kyle's family. The whole weekend felt like a reminder of everything that was wrong with her relationship. While Kyle was busy helping his parents with chores, Lena found herself alone in the guest room, staring at her phone. She couldn't stop thinking about Noah, about the late-night talks they had, the way he made her feel like she was his priority. It was a painful reminder that something deep inside her had been missing, and now she was too far down the path of emotional betrayal to find her way back. That was when Lena made the decision that would change everything. She ended things with Noah. She realized she couldn't continue living a double life. But when she returned to Kyle after the trip, the relationship felt different. It was as if the cracks in their connection had already grown too large to ignore. Lena couldn't shake the guilt that weighed on her heart, and Kyle could sense that something was off. Eventually, Kyle confronted her. "What's going on with us?" he asked, his voice tinged with both suspicion and hurt. Lena couldn't keep the secret any longer. She told him everything: the kiss with Noah, the emotional distance, the guilt she had carried for so long. Kyle was devastated. He felt betrayed not only by the physical infidelity but by the emotional disconnect that had led Lena to seek validation elsewhere. For weeks they tried to salvage their relationship, but it felt like they were both carrying invisible scars that neither could erase. Lena didn't just feel guilty about the kiss or about Noah, she felt guilty for not being honest with herself sooner. She had loved Kyle, but she hadn't been in touch with her own emotional needs. She had sought comfort in someone else, not because Kyle had failed her, but because she had failed herself. The months that followed were filled with difficult conversations and tears. Kyle and Lena eventually decided to take a break from each other, but the damage had been done. They never fully recovered. The emotional distance had widened beyond repair, and they both realized that they were no longer the people they had been when they first met. Their paths diverged. Years later, Lena would look back on her college relationship with a sense of bittersweet clarity. She realized that the emotional infidelity she experienced wasn't just about being with someone else, it was about failing to communicate her own emotional needs, about not understanding the complexities of intimacy and connection. She had committed a betrayal, but in doing so, she had learned something important about herself: that love and emotional intimacy weren't something to be taken for granted, and that in relationships, honesty wasn't just about the physical, it was about being true to one's own feelings and desires. Lena's journey was complicated, and it was filled with painful lessons. She learned that sometimes, before you can be honest with others, you have to first be honest with yourself. And in her case, that honesty came too late for the relationship she once believed was everything.